is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Y'all ready for this? Mm-hmm. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us to DBL. Hello, everyone.
Hey, did you expect that octave to come out?
It came out real high.
It did.
Almost like I haven't been through puberty, but I have.
Okay, Miss Byram.
All right, as you may have heard, there's this big doping scandal going on right now at the Olympics. So let's take you through it. 15-year-old Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva has been allowed to compete despite testing positive for a performance-enhancing drug back in December. Now, on the ice today, she totally dominated the short program, topping the leaderboard and breaking down in tears. But here's the thing. If she wins, none of the medals will be awarded while the matter is being investigated, which could take months. Now, Kamila is blaming her grandfather for the positive drug test, saying it was a medication he was taking. And her lawyer said the contamination possibly happened after they shared a glass of water. Okay, a lot to talk about
And
here.
full disclosure, her lawyer is Shaggy.
For real? Oh my God. And it got me
That's
out
a
there.
real lie when you get just like when you got to think on your
Right.
feet. You're like, you know, Grandpa, right?
Grandpa's probably sitting somewhere like, huh? Lindsay, what did you think about this? And knowing that Russia can't compete in these Olympics because of doping, they are actually the Russian Olympic Committee because of this very thing that happened back in 2019. They've been banned from major competitions for 4 years.
Well, first there's the Sha'Carri Richardson piece. That's like
We're going to get to that for sure.
right, and it's just like the same thing pretty much. I was really searching for a difference so that I could be wrong about this. But when you look at it, it's like the only difference is that Sha'Carri didn't lie. She said, hey, I had a family experience and my mom passed away. I found out horribly, and here's what happened. And this woman is telling you that her grandpa's uncle's cousin accidentally had a sip of water, and this is what happened. So it just is like a weird situation to watch, especially within months. Like, this was kept under wraps from December until mid-February. Sha'Carri, a week after it happened and she was drug tested, the world knew, and then half of the world was bashing her and half of the world was supporting her. So it's just like a tough situation to watch because it constantly goes back to what else can it go back to? Race. And we're always talking about it on this show, but like, what's the difference? What is the difference? And so, I don't know. I mean,
let me get to the Sha'Carri so people know exactly. There's more to this story. I just want to get to this, what you said. U.S. track star Sha'Carri Richardson is slamming the International Olympic Committee for its decision, saying it is a double standard, like Lindsay was saying, that they're allowing Kamila to compete. If you recall, Sha'Carri was disqualified from competing in the Summer Olympics in Tokyo after testing positive for marijuana during the trials. Sha'Carri tweeted, "Can we get a solid answer on the difference of her situation and mine? My mother died and I can't run and was also favored to the place top 3. The only difference I see is I'm a black young lady." Double standard, Al, you were speaking?
I guess to have a double standard, you have to have a standard. And that's what I'm looking for here. I don't see it. What is your policy? Yes, does it appear that race played a part in this? Absolutely. But I don't know what this is. It's so opaque. Like, what are the rules? So now is the rule now that if somebody that is competing might possibly test positive, that nobody gets a medal? Is that the rule? That's a ridiculous rule. But if it's the rule, then is that the rule for everybody? If Sha'Carri had run, would she have canceled out? If she had run, would she have canceled out everybody else's? Like, I don't understand the rules. The IOC has always had issues with corruption since as long as I've been alive, and that's a long time. So, Erica, please speak. Please explain. I don't get it.
Well, if there's one thing, much to Lindsay's point, that Sha'Carri's going to do is tell the truth. She has a level of accountability. Y'all can say whatever you want about her, but she has been very truthful since the beginning. That being said, what we're really learning from the IOC is that if you are going to do something that is going to possibly get you banned from the Olympics, either one, don't get caught, or two, deny. Because if you deny, then you're handsomely rewarded because you still get to compete. However, if you take accountability in this game of integrity and sportsmanship, then you will for sure pay the piper. I mean, to ask for transparency when we're talking about an actual, like, global games seems to be the bare minimum.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand why they're even allowed to compete at all because of the doping scandal that they've already went through. I also want to ask you guys this, and this is a fair question. Tara Lipinski, who I love, her and Johnny Weir when they do the commenting, they've all spoken out, including Adam Rippon, who's very upset.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Great friend. Best friend, not best friend. She said, we have to remind ourselves she's just 15 years old. This is Camilla, a minor. I know more than anyone what it's like to compete in Olympic Games, but a positive test is a positive test. She cannot skate. Is there something to be said for her just being this sort of like 15-year-old that probably didn't have anything to say about it?
But what about all the other young people that are been practicing and sacrificing their lives for years to get to this moment that just want to know they're competing on a level playing field?
Right.
What about that? You know, that's even if we take out the Sha'Carri portion, like what about people who are actually looking at like, oh, we're making exceptions for this young woman and she could or could not get a medal. None of us get to go home with our medal until we figure out what's going on with her.
And Lindsay, it's a double whammy. I was like, listening to you as you're talking, I'm like, you already are worried that it's not a competitively balanced playing field because you're not going against Russia. You're going against the Russian Olympic Committee.
Right.
Yes, there's only one ROC in my life. But, you know, you're now competing against a scandal wrapped inside of a scandal because there's already a doping scandal. So how...
I don't get why they're allowed to compete in the first place.
I don't. So maybe we'll get somebody. Maybe Adam Rippon, friend of the show, will explain all this.
Well, Adam, speaking of said, I'm so angry. The ladies' event tomorrow is a complete joke. So many Olympic experiences are stolen from clean athletes who got here without the help of performance-enhancing drugs. What a shame. And Johnny Weir simply said, if you can't play fair, you can't play. I do want to also say she was the first woman to land a quad in competition at this Olympics. If you don't know what a quad is, it's 4 rotations in the air.
Amazing.
The drug she was supposed to have had helps blood flow and stamina. She landed 2, tried a third, and fell. It's insane that a woman even tries a quad. So you see that perhaps there was evidence this really helped her abilities to go the extra mile, which I think is crazy.
And I think shame on the people around her, because I know when we're talking about kids, like they have a level, to me, when I was 15 years old, I was very impressionable. And so all I'm thinking of is, yes, she's a young kid, and yes, she's getting bombarded with all these news headlines about her, but she's not the only one who made that decision. If she made the decision, let's take this performance-enhancing drug. And so that's, to me, a shame for all the adults in the room that decided this was a good idea.
Yeah.
If this is allegedly what happened.
Do you think she should be allowed to compete at all? Anybody?
No, one skater should not be able to stop the show. I mean, Lindsay alluded to this, but to go more in detail, no one will go home with an Olympic medal. They have to wait for someone who could possibly have done something that violates the rules to determine if they get their moment shipped to them in the mail. That's like, it's completely disgusting.
Opening your gold medal at home along with your Fabletics box and whatever else in your Instacart, you also have a gold medal in there. Like, what a disappointment. Like, you want to hear your national anthem played and tears, and you look at your coach like, hey, day for 5 years and here we are. Like,
everybody doesn't go to the Olympics twice.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's like we talked about it when we were in COVID or the pandemic. People couldn't get their awards in the same way. It was virtual. It wasn't the same feeling to win those high honors in the entertainment space. So imagine if you can't probably go again, or you might not go again. It's up in the air, and then you get it mailed to you in a box.
Yeah. I mean,
you've done nothing wrong. You've done nothing wrong.
I was going to say, I only went once to the Olympics because of this show.
What was your?
A number of events.
Number. What was your event? A couple of them?
Ice.
He was competing in ice.
What do you call it, curling?
Yeah, there you go.
I think I saw you.
The ice with the kettlebells.
This is my favorite. Go. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Margaret Josephs from The Real Housewives of New Jersey. What does she have to say about the drama on the show? And Dr. Coley joins us next to talk about kids still having to wear masks in school. We know a lot of you are concerned. What does she think of that? Stay with us.
Closed captioning provided by
I had a bunch of friends that were weirdly obsessed with curling. I mean, curling is a great sport.
Yeah.
Kudos to everybody who does it. But, you know, if you don't understand it and have never seen it before and then watch your first Olympics younger, in the winter you're like, they're moving this thing down.
Tori and I did curling. That one.
Oh, you actually tried it?
We went curling. I still, you know what's weird is it was at the Denver David, what's the name of that place? The Denver Ice Rink? What's the
Okay.
name of that place? It's kind
I'm
of
like-
out by Red Rocks, the ice rink. Do you know the name of it?
It's in Golden.
Yeah, it's in Golden.
It's a curling. It's the only curling.
Yeah, we went to the curling.
Golden. We went to it.
Yes, and it was like, it was really fun, and there were like people there.
It was hard though, remember? Why was it? We were on some kind of shoe. It's a skate shoe.
It's a skate shoe you have to like push off, but it's kind of like weirdly. You could see how you would be obsessed with it, like just shaving. Because I think
It's really like doable. And the dudes who are in the Olympics, there's a meme that says they all look like dads that just just got off the couch and they're like, we're in the Olympics. They're not like major athletes. They're like, hey. So it's exciting.
yeah, I do like that there's some Olympic sports that at least people look and they're like, I think I could
do that. Yeah.
You could, but like when you look at ping pong, you're like, I can't even see the ball.
No. I always think the luge, you know the luge?
Yes.
Who came up with that one? Who's like, I know. We'll go skeleton.
Probably
the skeleton is
sledding.
head first. What are we doing?
Wait, you just go
Head first on a little sled, and you go head first. Zoom, zoom. The skeleton? Who came up with this?
I would just think there would be a lot of like concussions with stuff like that.
I think it's terrible for your brain.
I'm sure it jars you around.
And you're going. Yeah.
But our producer Chris has something really interesting about the luge I never thought about. That when people from track get into the luge, they do it because that person running to jump in, if they're an Olympic runner, helps with your time. I thought that was something I never thought about that.
Sure, if you want. Welcome back to DBL. We're going to talk about COVID mandates rolling back nationwide, and we have Dr. Coley with us. But we do want to get your opinion, since you're here, about the doping scandal at the Olympics. What do you think as a doctor?
Honestly, the story that she shared water with her grandfather and that's how she got it, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. If there's something more to it and she happened to take it, what the physiologic effects of that drug are, which are typically used for a condition called angina, which is when you have blockages in the blood vessels around the heart, so it dilates those blood vessels and causes more blood flow to the heart. So maybe it could have improved her performance, but I just don't believe her right from the start.
Wow. Fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. I appreciate that coming
It's
from...
just a sad story all around. You do feel for the 15-year-old, but like I feel for everybody. It's just...
IOC's got to do some cleanup. IOC's got to do...
They've done it like 5 times, and it's
not working. All right, well, some areas are dropping mask mandates, as we said, but not in schools. Does this make any sense to you, Dr. Coley?
So first, let me start by saying I don't think we should be dropping mask mandates at all. The CDC has been very clear that they think we should continue indoor mask mandates until the cases are down and stay down. So the fact that we're dropping it, I already have a little bit of an objection to that. But does it make sense to do something different in the community than the schools? Absolutely. It really does. Because what are we doing in schools? First of all, kids are there for 6 to 8 hours a day, right? If you look at the numbers, guys, only 24% of kids aged 5 to 11 are vaccinated, which means that 76% are not vaccinated, despite the vaccine obviously being available. So you essentially have a largely unvaccinated population spending a lot of time together, with some kids being under 5 and not yet being eligible. So we got to keep our kids in school, and the best way to do that, vaccines and masks.
So let's talk about social distancing, because New York has just decided to drop the social distancing to 3 feet. Is that going to make any difference on how COVID is spread? Either way.
No, I think this is made up. This is theater. This is fake science. You know, we always talk about fake science. This is fake science. The 6 feet came from the fact that when you're talking, your large droplets can eject up to 6 feet, and that's how they fall. So 3 feet, which is half the distance, is just kind of made up. Now, aerosol spread can occur even much closer together, but I don't see any advantage to going 3 feet as opposed to 6. Now, it's better than 0. If I'm very close to you, probably my droplets are more likely to get to you, but I don't know any studies that this is based off of.
Debunking Coley, I love this.
I love it. Well, let's switch gears a little bit, because I'm starting to hear now from medical experts that food can be as addictive as alcohol and cigarettes. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
I could.
Yes. Well, it's true. I mean, I actually think there's real food addiction as an illness out there. What medical experts are debating is whether this is a substance use illness, like alcoholism, or whether this is a behavioral disorder, like gambling. But what we know is that eating food triggers a dopamine circuit in our brain. That's a reward circuit. It also triggers an opioid circuit. That's the receptor that heroin binds to. So it really does trigger those reward circuits in our brain. What we're learning based on all the science is that food addiction is behaving a lot more like a substance use disorder. You know, people do it even though it's to their detriment. They have cravings. They do it all day long. They get better and then they relapse. So it's behaving very much like a substance use disorder rather than
Never thought about that.
Instead of a behavioral. I never thought of that either. That the food was actually the problem. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's the substance that you need, and you need more and more of it to achieve necessarily that same effect. I don't know if I'm a fan of calling it an addiction, but in terms of how it behaves in the brain, it's very similar.
Wow. Well, researchers also found a link between chronic pain and eating. So what exactly did they learn, and how might this information be used?
Chronic pain is such a tough condition. You know, it changes our body in so many ways. It changes our mood. It changes our motivation. So for the longest time, we had thought that the reason patients who have chronic pain gain weight or become obese is just because they're sedentary. They're not doing very much. But what we recently learned is actually their brain changes. The reward circuit that they have from eating ice cream or, you know, what else do you guys like to eat?
Like Twinkies in the dark?
No, mine's chocolate-covered pretzels. That's mine.
Oh, is it?
Oh, I love
dark chocolate for me. But, but eating that, it doesn't trigger that same reward circuit. So they actually have changes in the size of the nucleus in the brain that triggers reward, that triggers satiety. So they end up eating differently, and that's why they gain weight, not because they're not exercising. So this has real implications for how we can help these patients with chronic pain.
Wow, you heard it here first, guys. Really helpful information. Thank you, doctor. If you have a question you want answered by Dr. Coley, just write us on social media. You can also email at info@dailyblastlive.com. So good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you.
All right, coming up on DBL, Margaret Josephs from the Real Housewives of New Jersey dishes on all the drama. Our interview with her is next. Stay tuned for that.
Stimulus payments were a lifeline to millions of Americans during the pandemic. And every time the Treasury mailed out those checks and deposits, we received email after email from some of you asking, "Where's my check?" On social media, some of you claim you can still collect that money through your taxes. So let's verify. If you think you're owed more stimulus money than you got, is there a way to get the remainder when you file your taxes? Our sources, the IRS website and spokesperson Luis Garcia and Henry Grez of the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Let's start with the third stimulus, the most recent one. The IRS says if you're eligible and didn't get one or didn't get the full amount, you can claim something called the Recovery Rebate Credit when you file your taxes.
The Recovery Rebate Credit is a way to reconcile with the amount that you were actually owed and the amount you received, so that if there's more coming your way, you'll get it through that Recovery Rebate Credit when you file your return.
If you don't remember how much you got, check your IRS online account or check your mailbox for a letter by the IRS for this purpose. It's called Letter 6475.
If you don't fill out that worksheet, the IRS isn't going to do it for you. So you need to fill out the worksheet and make sure you put the proper numbers in there.
Our experts say if you don't ordinarily file a tax return, you should go ahead and do it. You may be able to get that stimulus payment retroactively if you missed out. Now, let's say you still haven't got all your money from your first and second payment. The IRS says don't claim any of that on your 2021 taxes. That's info you should have included on your 2020 return. If you want to try and still get it, the IRS says file a 2020 tax return if you haven't already, or amend your 2020 tax return if it's already been processed. So we can verify, yes, there is a way to get your stimulus money by filing taxes. With Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
I don't like how you nasty talking behind my back about my boyfriend.
You do not want Margaret to be your enemy. No.
You're a sick, disgusting liar.
Well, welcome back. Her tagline this season is when there is nothing to hide, there is nothing to lose. Real Housewife of New Jersey, Margaret Josephs, joined us earlier to dish on all the drama. Take a look.
Okay, so everyone, we got to get your opinion on this because everyone, including our viewers, are talking about a very
bizarre video that surfaced of your fellow housewife Teresa Giudice's fiance at quote-unquote warrior camp. What are your thoughts about the video? It's bizarre.
Well, I think that's why everybody on the show is upset. Teresa is upset with me. Listen, I looked up what Warrior Camp was. I felt bad because a private moment was exposed. Obviously he sent this in a private moment. But when you look up what Warrior Camp is, it's like a toxic masculinity camp that people go to, bad behavior, if they've had bad behavior in their relationships or anything like that. So I thought it was a little odd.
You dropped the bomb that Jennifer's husband had an affair. So how did you know that he was a cheater? And do you regret revealing this at all?
Prior to Jennifer getting on the show, I had known because I knew people in Westchester where Bill had his previous practice. Obviously, I'm not one to judge cheating. But with that being said, do I feel bad I dropped the bomb? I feel bad it hurt anybody in her family. But it wasn't a surprise to her, which you see on the show.
All right, I have to ask now, we just saw a little bit of a clip up at the front end of this. What makes Jersey different from all the other housewife casts, and which one is the worst in your opinion?
Ooh. Jersey's an amazing cast because we all have actual friendships. We've been a solid cast. Hasn't changed in 4 years, and we socialize all year round. So I think it cuts the deepest, the emotions are the deepest. So that's why we're an amazing cast, and that's why we're so crazy. So I think, so when you're asking me the worst, you're asking me the worst franchise or the worst person on my show?
Like if you guys had to play Family Feud against one other franchise, who would you pick out? Good question.
I mean, Family Feud. At this point, I'd have to say I hate to say this, but I don't think the OC is gelling as well as it used to. And I love them, but I just don't think it's as great as it used to be. I mean, that's my opinion.
Survey says that was the right answer.
I actually agree with her. I totally agree.
It was just an honest answer, and when somebody speaks from the heart, like not hating, just like I'm not feeling it, I respect that so much. All right. Well, let's talk about this. Yes, you are, and you're going to deal with another straight shooter very soon. You're going to deal with the table flipping Teresa Giudice this season. So talk to us really quickly. What led up to this?
Well, Teresa obviously was upset because I don't hold anything in. I do ask questions that upset her, but I only want her happy. And when I see a red flag, I say it. And I think it frustrated her because I think she takes what I have to say in the wrong way. And when she can't use her words, she has a fit and throws an entire table of things on me. That's really what happened.
Do you ever go into a situation with that long table, you're like, somebody's dumping this over, throwing wine, and somebody's moving glasses away before you start filming?
I truthfully thought those days were over, that an entire table would go over on me, but obviously that's not the case. I really thought that was over and done with.
Stay tuned.
Well, thank you, Margaret. We appreciate you keeping it real like you always do.
Thank you.
Catch new episodes of The Real Housewives of New Jersey Tuesday nights on Bravo. It was our pleasure. Thank you, Margaret.
Thanks for having me.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
You may have gotten emails or seen it on the internet. You can check your credit score for free, but some are wondering if that will hurt your credit. So the question, if your credit score is checked, will it always hurt your credit? Let's verify. Our source is Mark Henry, CEO of Alloy Wealth Management, Denitha Doe, writer at Clever, an agent matching service platform for people looking for realtors, and Credit Karma. Both Henry and Doe tell us there are two ways to check your credit score.
When your credit score is checked, it's either soft or hard.
Both of them say soft inquiries will not hurt your credit score, and they actually recommend it.
Soft inquiries like checking your own credit score, or if an institution is pre-approving you for a loan, is considered soft and it won't impact your credit score.
Credit Karma lists the differences between hard and soft inquiries. Soft inquiries include checking your credit score yourself, pre-qualified for credit card offers, pre-qualified insurance quotes, and employment verifications like background checks. These soft inquiries will not hurt your score. However, hard inquiries can.
When you actually apply for that credit card or the offer you've received, that is going to be a hard inquiry.
A hard inquiry is when anytime your credit score is being checked with the intention of giving you credit. And it will impact your score, but it'll be negligible, usually less than 5 points.
Some hard inquiries listed on Credit Karma's site include mortgage applications, auto loan applications, credit card applications, student loan applications, personal loan applications, and apartment rental applications. So we can verify that no, if your credit score is checked, it will not always hurt your credit. If it is a soft inquiry, that will not affect your score. However, if you are applying for credit or a loan in some way, a hard inquiry can bring your credit score down. Although Doe says you usually gain those points back in just a few months. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Verify here with your Fast Fact. Everyone loves a good deal, especially when it comes to prescription drug prices. Verified viewer K spotted posts claiming Mark Cuban launched an online pharmacy that offers some eye-popping savings and wants to know if Cuban really started his own drugstore. So K, let's verify. We checked with these sources for an answer. The name of the company is Mark Cuban Cost Plus Drug Company. Cuban tweeted about the venture, and the retailer confirms he is an investor. Business records show it's actually a rebrand of an existing wholesale company. They negotiate prescription drug prices with manufacturers and then work with an accredited pharmacy called TruePill to send medication to customers. So it's true. Mark Cuban did start his own drugstore. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back, everybody. February is American Heart Month, so we're taking a look at ways we can reduce our heart disease risk. Of course, we just had Coley here, a cardiologist. That's today's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. Did you know 20 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercise a day can lower your risk of heart disease? Studies show people aged 70 to 75 who exercise have much lower chances of developing heart disease later in life. But people aged 80 and above who started exercising did not see as much improvement. So the sooner you start exercising, the better. QB is a great way to get some quick exercise. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more important stuff. Just Me said, methinks there were a lot of pieces to this Olympics puzzle. I like when someone says methinks, first off. And
I thought you read that wrong.
No, I love Just Me. And is still putting the picture together. And just so you know, her first positive test, though, was December 25th. So my question is, why are we not making decisions that are so long? Why aren't we making decisions quicker?
Right. No answers.
Yeah. No.
That's what you like to tell your viewers.
Yeah, there are no answers. DBL is new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.